Hi there. Let me ask you something. Have you ever found yourself feeling more tired lately, even after a full night's sleep? Or maybe your vision has been a little blurrier than usual, but you thought, well, I guess it's just age catching up. What if I told you it might not be just age? You see, there's a condition that sneaks up on many older adults, quietly, slowly, and without much fuss at first. And by the time it becomes obvious, the damage may already be underway. I'm talking about type 2 diabetes, and especially how it shows up differently and more subtly in people over 60. Now, if you're thinking, oh, but I'm not overweight, or I feel fine most days, that's exactly why this conversation is so important. Diabetes in seniors doesn't always come with the classic warning signs. It doesn't knock loudly. Sometimes, it just leaves the door cracked open, hoping you don't notice. So today, we're going to talk, not with scary statistics or medical jargon, but just a real, heartfelt conversation about the quiet signals your body might be giving you. Signals that too often get dismissed, overlooked, or blamed on just getting older. Because your health deserves more than guesswork. Let's begin with one of the most common, but misunderstood, early signs. Have you been feeling more thirsty than usual lately? Not just after walking outside or exercising, but that persistent dryness in the mouth, that nagging urge to sip water even when you're sitting still. Maybe you keep a bottle of water by your recliner now, or you wake up at night just to take a few sips. This isn't just thirst. It could be your body's quiet cry for help. When blood sugar levels are too high, your body tries to flush it out through your urine, causing dehydration. The more you pee, the more water your body demands to stay balanced. That's why many people with undiagnosed diabetes drink more water and use the bathroom more often, especially at night. And speaking of that, have you noticed more frequent nighttime bathroom trips? Of course, as we age, it's common for our bladder to become a bit more sensitive. But if you're waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night to urinate, it might not be just age. It might be your kidneys working overtime to push sugar out of your system. Over time, this kind of strain can do real damage. But the good news? Caught early, it can also be managed and even reversed. Now let's talk about something that might sound a little strange. Sudden changes in vision. One day your reading glasses seem fine, and the next day, the words are fuzzy. Or lights at night feel extra bright or blurry. For some people, this can even mean temporary improvement in vision. Yes, that's right, your sight gets better for a short time before it gets worse. That's because high blood sugar can actually cause the lenses in your eyes to swell, changing the way you focus. It's not always permanent at first, but it is a sign that something deeper might be going on. What about energy? Let me ask you this honestly. Do you ever feel like your get up and go has gotten up and left? You might wake up feeling okay, but by late morning or early afternoon, your body feels heavy, sluggish. You might chalk it up to poor sleep, or maybe you skip breakfast. But persistent fatigue, even when you're not doing anything particularly exhausting, can be a sign your cells aren't getting the energy they need. See, with type 2 diabetes, sugar isn't getting into your cells properly. It's building up in your bloodstream, but not fueling your body. That's like having a full gas tank, but a broken engine. No matter how much fuel you have, your energy just won't show up the way it should. And here's another one that surprises many people. Tingling or numbness in your feet or hands. Maybe you've had a strange pins and needles feeling that comes and goes, or maybe your feet feel asleep even when you've been moving. Some describe it like walking on cotton or not feeling their socks properly. This could be early nerve damage. And it's one of the more silent signs that high blood sugar has been lingering in your system, damaging nerves little by little. It often starts in the feet, then moves upward if not managed. And once it becomes permanent, it's much harder to reverse. I know, this all might sound like a lot. But here's the thing I want you to hold on to. These signs aren't just symptoms. They're messages. Your body is talking to you. Whispering, not shouting. But it's speaking. Every dry mouth, every extra trip to the bathroom, every afternoon nap that feels more like a necessity than a choice. You don't have to panic. You don't have to self-diagnose. But you do have the power to pay attention, to notice, and to act early. There's another sign, less talked about, but just as important, that many older adults ignore completely. You know that feeling when food just doesn't taste the same anymore? Maybe your favorite soup feels a little more bland, or you found yourself reaching for extra salt, or even craving sweets more than you used to, even when you're not really hungry. That could be more than just changing taste buds. When blood sugar levels stay too high, it can affect the tiny blood vessels and nerves that help your taste and smell work properly. So if your meals aren't satisfying you like before, or if you're losing interest in food altogether, your body might be quietly telling you that something's off balance. And then there's something we don't talk about enough: mood. Has your patience been running thinner lately? Do you find yourself feeling irritable over small things, or just feeling down for no clear reason? This one catches a lot of people by surprise. Diabetes can affect your brain just as much as your body. Fluctuating blood sugar levels can cause mood swings, anxiety, and even mild depression. You might not feel sad exactly, but you might feel off, not quite like yourself. Some days feel heavier. Some conversations seem harder. The thing is, when we're older, people often assume those feelings are just part of aging. But they don't have to be. If your mood has shifted without a clear reason, especially alongside the other signs we've been talking about, it might be time to take a closer look. Let's talk about wounds, especially on your feet. Have you ever gotten a small cut or blister that seemed to take forever to heal? Maybe you didn't even notice it until it got red or swollen. That's another whisper from your body. High blood sugar slows down the healing process, particularly in your lower legs and feet where circulation can already be weaker. That's why it's so important to check your feet daily, even if they feel fine. A tiny nick or scratch that goes unnoticed can turn into something much more serious down the line. And I know, bending down to check your soles might not be as easy as it once was. But even just using a small mirror or asking a loved one for help can make all the difference. Now, what about weight? This one can go in both directions. Some people gain weight when their blood sugar is out of control, especially around the belly. But others might lose weight unexpectedly, and that's the one that really confuses people. Imagine this: you haven't changed your diet. You're not exercising more. But somehow, your pants feel looser, or the number on the scale is dropping week by week. That might sound like a good thing at first, but in older adults, unintentional weight loss can be a red flag. When the body isn't able to use sugar for energy, it starts breaking down fat and even muscle to compensate. That's not healthy weight loss. It's your body struggling to survive. If you or someone you know has been dropping pounds without trying, don't ignore it. And then, there's the fatigue. We mentioned it briefly before, but let's be honest. Exhaustion after 60 hits differently. This isn't the same as just being sleepy after lunch. It's a bone-deep tiredness. The kind that doesn't go away with a nap. The kind where simple tasks, like folding laundry, cooking a meal, or walking to the mailbox, feel harder than they should. This kind of fatigue isn't laziness. It's not weakness. It's often one of the earliest signs that your blood sugar is not where it should be. And for many people, it's brushed off for far too long. So how do we respond to all of this? First, take a breath. This is not about panic. It's about paying attention. It's about noticing the pattern that might be forming quietly in the background of your life. It's also about knowing you're not alone. Millions of people over 60 are living with type 2 diabetes, many without even knowing it. But the moment you start listening to your body, the moment you stop dismissing those little signs, that's the moment everything can change. Because awareness leads to action, and action leads to hope. Now you might be wondering, I recognize a few of those signs. But what should I do next? That's where we're heading. But before we talk about solutions, there's one more set of signals that often goes unnoticed, signals that affect how we sleep, how we move, and even how we feel in our own skin. Let me ask you something personal, but important. Have you been waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom more often than you used to? Or maybe you've noticed your sheets are damp from sweating, even when the room isn't hot. These nighttime changes can sneak up quietly, and most people shrug them off. Oh, that's just getting older, they say. But sometimes it's not just aging. It's your body trying to balance blood sugar while you sleep. You see, when glucose builds up in your bloodstream, your kidneys have to work overtime to filter it out. That means more trips to the bathroom, especially at night. And while 1 or 2 bathroom runs might not seem like a big deal, they interrupt your sleep cycle, leaving you groggy the next day. Add in that unexplained nighttime sweating, and suddenly, you're dealing with a body that's overworked while you're supposed to be resting. Now think about your vision. Do things look a little blurrier than they used to? Maybe you've caught yourself squinting more while reading the newspaper or watching TV. Or lights seem a bit too bright, or halos appear around street lamps. Here's what many people don't realize. High blood sugar affects the lens inside your eye. It swells, changing your ability to focus clearly. For some, vision gets better, weirdly enough, for a little while, before it gets much worse. If your prescription glasses aren't working the way they used to, and your vision seems to shift without warning, your blood sugar might be the real culprit. Then there's the itching. And no, I don't mean the kind that comes from dry winter skin. This is different. It's a persistent, uncomfortable itching, especially in areas like your lower legs, your back, or even your scalp. Sometimes the skin feels tight, like it's stretched too thin. Other times, there's a slight burning sensation, almost like pins and needles. This could be a result of nerve damage, something known as diabetic neuropathy. It can also be from poor circulation or even fungal infections that thrive when sugar levels are high. If that itch won't go away no matter how much lotion you apply, don't ignore it. Your skin is often the first line of defense, and when something's off inside, it can show up right on the surface. Speaking of nerves, have you felt tingling, numbness, or sharp pains in your hands or feet? Many older adults chalk that up to arthritis or just bad circulation. But persistent numbness or those electrical zap feelings in your fingers and toes are very often linked to uncontrolled blood sugar damaging the nerves. And once that damage sets in, it's not easy to reverse. But it can be managed, especially if caught early. That's why listening to your body now matters more than ever. So what can you actually do? First, don't wait. If even just a few of the signs we've talked about today feel familiar to you, it's time to have a conversation with your doctor. You don't need to walk in with a diagnosis. Just start with, "I've been feeling a little off lately, and I'm wondering if we could check my blood sugar." That's it. A simple question can lead to a simple test, and that test could help you avoid years of silent damage. Second, start small. You don't have to change everything overnight. Start by drinking a little more water each day. Move your body gently, even if it's just a walk around the house or 10 minutes of stretching while watching TV. Swap out that second spoonful of sugar in your coffee. These tiny shifts add up. Third, pay attention to your feet, your mood, your vision, and your energy. You know yourself better than anyone. If something feels off, don't dismiss it. Trust that inner voice. And finally, talk to someone. Living with or worrying about diabetes doesn't mean you have to handle it alone. There are support groups, neighbors, friends, even online communities full of people who understand. A quick chat over tea might be all it takes to feel seen, heard, and motivated. Look, getting older comes with plenty of changes. But not all of those changes are just part of aging. Some are signals. Some are opportunities. And some are quiet invitations from your body, asking for a little more care, a little more attention, and a little more kindness. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're just one small step away from clarity. Let me tell you a little story. A few months ago, a woman named Dorothy, she's 72, wrote to me after watching a video just like this one. She said she'd been feeling off for a while. Tired all the time. Legs aching. Eyes blurry. But she kept brushing it off. "I thought it was just old age," she wrote. "You know how it is, aches here, stiffness there. Nothing new." But something in her gut told her to take it seriously. After watching the video, she finally called her doctor. Just a checkup, nothing big. Turns out her blood sugar was dangerously high. She was one small step away from a serious diabetic episode. But because she caught it in time, she was able to make changes. Nothing too dramatic, just little things. A morning walk around her garden. Cutting back on white bread. Swapping soda for water. And most importantly, staying curious about how her body felt, instead of ignoring it. She says she feels lighter, clearer, more in control. Not perfect, but empowered. And that's the whole point, isn't it? You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something. One small step can lead to another. One question, one moment of awareness, that can change your life. Maybe it starts today with you. Maybe today is the day you decide to pay closer attention to your energy, or the way your skin feels, or how often you're visiting the bathroom at night. Not with fear, but with curiosity and care. Because your body is always talking to you. And it's not trying to scare you, it's trying to help you. Sometimes, the loudest warnings come in whispers. That's why this video isn't just a list of symptoms. It's a conversation. Between me and you. Between your past self and your future self. Between the version of you who's always put others first, and the version of you who's finally ready to put your health at the center. So here's what I want you to take away from this. You are not alone. Millions of older adults are living with diabetes, or prediabetes, and most of them didn't see it coming. But that doesn't mean they're helpless. And neither are you. The earlier you notice, the easier it is to manage. And the better your chances of living fully, joyfully, and independently for many years to come. Maybe you're already doing some of the right things. That's wonderful. Keep going. Maybe you're just starting now. That's perfect. There's no wrong time to begin. Start where you are. Use what you have. And do what you can. And if this video helped you, even in a small way, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you care about. A sibling. A friend. A neighbor. You never know who's quietly struggling with fatigue or blurry vision or strange nerve pains and just needs a gentle nudge to get help. Before we go, I want to ask you something. What signs has your body been giving you lately? Think about it. Reflect. And if you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. I read every message. And your story might be the reason someone else takes action too. If this video gave you something to think about, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want more warm, real conversations about aging, health, and joyful living, make sure to subscribe. This space is for you. We're not here to fear getting older. We're here to grow with it, with grace, awareness, and a whole lot of love. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Stay curious. Stay connected. And as always, may you live well at every age.